a fan of the Dragon Ball Super card game? If so, check out QueenCityGaming.com for sealed product, singles, and more. Just use promo code MafubaJar-10 to save 10% off your order every time.
Welcome back to Mafuba Jar. We've been sealed away for another awesome deck profile, and today I'm going to be profiling for you guys my Set 4 Mira deck. Now, I honestly really like the Mira decks that came out in Set 3. They were pretty fun. Can't really complain too much about it, but the Set 4 Mira leader, oh man, this one just opened up so much possibilities for the Mira deck, and not to mention all the new black cards we got in this set. Oh man, so awesome, so awesome. I wanted to profile it for you, do this to you guys for a little bit, but I wanted to make sure I had every card needed. So, got everything I needed, got all the testing I needed to do to make sure that this is a proper Mira deck for you guys, and without me rambling on anymore, I'm going to show you why this deck is so awesome. So let's go ahead and discuss the leader here first. Like I said, this is the Set 4 Mira, and his activate means once per turn, you choose a card in your life and add it to your hand. He gains 5,000 power for the duration of the turn, and you mill 3 cards from the top of your deck. So this card self-awakens, boosts its power for the turn, and it sets up your drop area for Overrun Warping. It's like, whoa, man, this leader does it all, guys. And not to mention, since he's an android, he has access to android support too. I'm like, man, oh man, this guy is really cool. And his awakening is that you tap 2 energy when he's at 4. So it's not the same Mira from Set 3 where you get to add a card from your warp. But that's okay, because tapping 2 energy, it just helps you set up so many more plays. Let's go ahead and check out his awakened side, which I love this artwork here. Mira 1 with darkness. And of course, he has the auto when he attacks, draw a card, just like almost every leader has. And his activate means once per turn, choose 3 cards in your warp and place them in your drop area. This card gains 5 power for the duration of the turn. So he has another way to boost power, and it gets stuff from warp back to drop. So it helps set up your overrun again once you have like so many cards in your warp. So he's a little bit like Mass Sent in the process to where you can use this effect to self-awaken, and if you use this effect again, he gets the 25 power for the turn. So that's pretty cool. Becomes a pretty powerful leader for that turn. So, yeah, just like, so awesome. And I did try this deck with Set 3 Mira as well, but I feel like Set 3 Mira, you're so constricted. Like, there's not a lot of freedom, in my opinion, to what you can do. But this Mira, I personally feel allows so much more freedom. So that's why, if you all were wondering why I'm doing this one over Set 3. And let's get to the deck itself. So I'm going to be running 4 copies of Toa. Now, this is going to be our main searcher in the deck to search out all of our Mira cards, because we do run a lot of Mira cards in this deck. You look at your top 7, search any Mira or Mass Sand. So, some people I've talked to actually did not realize that Toa could search Mass Sand too, because everyone always used her for Mira. But yeah, she searches Mira or Mass Sand, and you add it to your hand. So really, really cool. Not to mention, she does help with our Union play, because yes, Mira has a Union card now, and it is so busted. Alright, next up here we have 3 copies of Time Control Corona. Just our 1-drop draw, and prevents our opponent from playing, even though it's not really seen much anymore anyway, Shugesh. But really, there's not much reason not to play it, so that's why. And I only run 3 of it because we do have a much better draw card in this deck. Since Mira is an android, we get to play 4 copies of Create Android. So tap a card, you tap a green, draw 2 cards, and you pitch 1 card from your hand to the drop area. So not only does this card let you draw 2, but it helps set up your drop area for your warp. So I love the fact that a lot of these android cards aren't color specific. They just say your leader has to be an android. So that just gives Mira access to so many things, and I love it. And of course, another staple card is going to be 4 copies of Supreme Kai of Time, World's Protector. It's going to be our super combo of the deck. And what's really cool about this one is that this one activates when you have 5 or more cards in your warp, which I've gotten there by turn 2 easily. So you're going to be activated. You can activate this very early in the game, which is really, really awesome. And next up here, it's going to be 4 copies of Furthering Destruction Champa. Now, there's quite a few cards that we get to play this with to gain double strike for the turn. Our leader, some of our battle cards, but one card in particular, which I think is by far one of the most busted black cards we have gotten to date. It's going to be 4 copies of Mira Creator Absorb. Now, this is the Union card I was telling you about. There's a Mira Union here that you could play this with, which I'll show you guys that in a minute. And he has Deflect, first of all, so Bloodlust, Crusher Ball, stuff like that will not work on him, which is amazing. And his auto is that, well, one of his autos is that if you play this card using Union, your opponent chooses 3 cards from a hand, send it to the Warp, and his card gains double strike for the duration of the turn. It's pretty cool, but honestly, you're not really going to be using the Union too often, because he has an overrun of 4, and you only have to tap 1 and bring him out, which I can't believe they gave us that option, because that's just so busted. Especially when I read you guys his second auto. Second auto is when this card attacks, this card gains 5,000 power for each card in your Warp. 5,000, and you don't even have to pull up the Union for that. So, like, man, this is like such an early game, huge beat stick. Like, you have no idea. Especially if you combo this off with Champa, there's almost really no need to go for your Union. I mean, there is some point in the Union, because if you do it with Union, then of course he doesn't have to go to Warp at the end of your turn. He stays there permanently, and forcing your opponent to pitch 3 is really just gross for them. But still, the fact that you could bring this out so quickly and make him so powerful, like, I can't believe they gave us the overrun 4 and you don't have to tap 1 option to bring this guy out. And the fact that it's plus 5,000, like, if it was plus 1,000 or like 2,000, that would have been a little more fair, but plus 5,000? Yeah, this forces your opponent to waste their negates early game. Or to waste their waste their negates early game. Because if they don't, they're not comboing out of this. Because I kid you not, before comboing, the highest I've ever gotten to with this card is 185,000 power. Again, that's before using my combos or anything like that. So you could, like, make this guy gain so much attack. And if you combo this off with Champa, again, they're taking that damage. Like, it's either negate, block, or they're taking it. They're not comboing out of this guy. Alright, so let me guys show you the other mirrors I run in this deck here. I run 2 copies of Mira from the Darkness. I know I spent a few minutes talking about this card. It's just like, this was like one of the cards I was most hyped for in this set. And for very good reason, it's so busted. So yeah, back to the other mirrors. I run 2 copies of Mira from the Darkness. Just pretty much to have a way to hit my opponent for critical. And also another great card to combo with Champa. Double crit is always nasty. I run 2 copies of Relentless Destruction Mira because hand destruction is always nice. Playing with Overwhelm, your opponent has to pitch a card. So, really good as well. Especially, like, if you're able to get your opponent's hand size down pretty low, this is like a nasty card to finish off with. And this is the new Dark Absorption Mira I was telling you guys about, the one with the Union Absorb. So it's an overrun of 3, and the Union absorbs you tap 4. You place a Toa from your Warp under this card, and if your leader card is an Android or Toa, even though we don't have a Toa leader yet, at least now we know we're eventually going to get a Toa leader, then you choose 1 mirror with an energy cost of 7 in your hand or Warp, and play it on top of this card in active mode. Yeah, so you could even use the Mira. You could even use this guy early game, and he'll go to the Warp at the end of that turn. And even if all 4 of these are in the Warp, that's perfectly fine, because this can still get it from Warp. Like, that's just, oh man, that's nasty. Now, the only reason I say you're not going to play this too often is because you do have to pay 4 energy, and Dragon Ball Super now is just a much faster card game than it's ever been. So, you're not going to get this too often. But when you can, it's just nasty, and this card's just nasty on its own. So yeah, those are the little mini mirrors I run. Now let's get into our other cards here. Gonna be running 3 copies of Dimensional Banisher Few. Now, this is also another really good block card that we got in the set. Like, my honest opinion is one of the best rares that we got in the set. So he's an Overwhelm 5, you only have to tap 1 energy. He has double strike. And as always, when you play the card with Overwhelm, choose one of your opponent's battle cards and set it to the Warp. Doesn't matter the energy or power, it's any of their battle cards to Warp. So, really good if you need to get rid of a really problematic card in your opponent's side of the field. And it's not much to bring out at all. And of course, honestly, I don't see any black Overwhelm deck playing a deck without this card, Scientist Few. It's just become like one of the main staples, I feel. 7, tap 1, double strike, and you draw 2 when you play him. So, again, I see no reason for anything playing black to not play this card. It's just too amazing. Too amazing. Next up here, I run 2 copies of Trunks Power Overseeing Time. Now, the Double Strike is nice, but I mainly plan to get battle cards back from the Warp, like, say, the Champa or the Supreme Kai Super Combo. Those are going to be the main targets, but of course, it's any battle card, so if there's, like, any type of card whatsoever that you need at that time, you can get it back from the Warp. But the Champa and the Supreme Kai are going to be almost always your main targets for that. And having a way to bring him out is always amazing. And next up here is personally a combo I have come to really like in this deck. It first off starts with 3 copies of Temporal Darkness Demigra, along with 3 copies of Combo Killer Anilaza. So let me explain these cards here. This is the only Dark Overrun we run, by the way. So there's a Dark Overrun with 7, you tap 4, and you have to have at least 7 black cards in your drop area to play as from Warp. And with Dark Overrun, this does not have to go back to the Warp. Once you play something with Dark Overrun, it stays on the field. And the autos, when you play this card, choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and send it to the Warp, then choose up to 1 battle card from your Warp with an energy cost of 4 or less and play it. And most of the time, the Anilaza is going to be a target, but we do have other targets. So what's really cool about the Anilaza is that Barrier Double Strike's nice, but the auto is what does it. Once per turn, when your opponent combos, they have to choose a card in their hand and place it in the drop area. So they have to pitch a card from their hand just to combo once. So that's really, really cool. It really diminishes your opponent's hand, especially if you're able to get off multiples of these. So yeah, like I said, this has become like one of my favorite things to do when I have 4 energy. So it's mainly this you do once you get the 4 energy, but you do have the option of Union Absorbing as well. I just like to have multiple options for later game. And speaking of later game, this is going to be the final battle card and the final mirror that we run. It's going to be Force Destruction Mirror. Now this actually just came from the Ultimate box, and it's about time that we finally have a decent Xeno Evolve mirror, because the last one we got from set 3 was so underwhelming. Like, I don't want to say it was bad, but that card had no business being a 5 cost. That should have been a 4 cost mirror, but this one, it's actually worth the 5 cost, I feel. So we Xeno Evolve 5 on top of a Mira, and you send it to Warp inactive. So, and he has Triple Strike, which is very nice. And the odds when this card evolves in this card, if your leader card is Toa or an Android, and you have 10 or more black cards in your Warp, which is incredibly easy, your opponent chooses 3 cards in their hand and sends it to the Warp. So this diminishes your opponent's hand. And it's a Triple Strike, so this is just a really good card to end the game with. So really, really awesome indeed. I'm just happy the fact that like I said, that we finally have a good Xeno Evolve mirror, because I hated what they did with the last one. So he's good, much better, much better. And for the final 4 cards, this is going to be 4 copies of Speedy Surprise Attack. Now, combo cards like this in full power energy have actually become pretty important now, because it's a counter attack, you negate it, and if your leader's an Android, you pitch a card and you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost of 3 or less and KO that card. Now, the reason this and full power energy are important because so many 1-drops are now in the game, especially with set 4 game with so many powerful 1-drops. And not to mention all the combos with the legendary flute. Yeah, most decks run full power energy. I love this card because I can run it with Mira. Not to mention pitching a card for me doesn't hurt because it helps set up my drop area for overall. But if you want to play full power energy, you're more than welcome to. Like I said, both cards are good now. So that will do it for my Mira deck profile. If you guys like this deck, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And stick around because there's going to be a lot more coming up. I've built a lot of decks to show you guys. So, with that, hope you guys have a fantastic day. And with that, you've been released.